Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak. Cow goes moo, frog goes croak, and the elephant goes toot. Hey, what's going on, Matt? How's it going?
What's up? What's up,
I
buddy?
got.
How are you?
I'm doing
Excited.
well. I'm the real Randy Chavez. For those of you that don't know, and for those of you that do, welcome back. And everyone say hello to Matt Young. How's it going?
It's going good, man. I'm super excited to chat with you today. Like I'm a super fan of you for a lot of different reasons. So
Thank you.
yeah, definitely excited to chat with you and just talk about OMI and yeah, just excited to be a part of the culture. So
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm a fan of yours as well. I read your article, the or the one that was about you. I don't think you wrote it. There was some guy named Chris taking pictures. That was pretty cool. How you got into real estate. What age did you get into real estate again?
So I got into real estate marketing. So that's basically like one of the companies that I currently own. We do lead generation is basically like, well, I'm sure that you know, but for anybody who doesn't, it's like we basically put ads in front of people who are interested in buying and selling. Once they click on that ad, we then transfer them over to an interested real estate agent that wants to work that ad.
That's
or
awesome.
that lead. Yeah.
So the real estate agents pay you because they get the leads from you, right?
Yes. Yep.
And then you get like a percentage of the commission that they get if the sale goes through.
I don't have my real estate license, or I would be able to, but I basically I just charge a flat fee.
Yeah.
So yep.
But is that worth it for you to be like get your real estate license just for the percentage of commission, or like not really?
It can be. That's a good question. A lot of people ask me this. It can be very lucrative if you choose the right real estate agents that have integrity. Because obviously, if they're saying that they're not closing X amount of deals, but yet they're just like completely, crushing it on the back end, then that could be an issue. So there's some ethics involved in having a business model like that for sure.
Yeah,
But
that's a good point.
It can be extremely lucrative. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got into that a while ago, and when did you start getting into crypto?
I got into crypto actually in 2017. I was basically riding the wave of the Bitcoins and the Ethereums, and I didn't know what I was doing. I still wouldn't say that I'm an expert by any means, but I think I'm a little bit more equipped to have a crypto conversation now. Yeah, and basically, back then, one of my buddies, Thomas, he was telling me actually in like 2015, you got to buy Bitcoin, you got to buy Bitcoin. And I didn't see it. I just didn't understand enough about like what it was and the future. I don't think anybody did, right? Like we all just thought it was some digital BS. And he proved to be extremely prophetic. That kid has, I want to say like 100 Bitcoin or a couple hundred Bitcoin, and he bought it at like $100 a Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So I always joke with my friends that he's like somewhere in with Richard Branson or something, like private islands and all this crazy stuff. So.
Oh, dude, that's amazing. So I mean, 10. Yeah. So if 10 would be, it's worth like what, 59, 60,000 now, give or take, per
60,
Bitcoin.
60 grand. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if he has 100 Bitcoin, he's lounging with 60 M's in the bank.
He's doing it. He's doing it. So I'm very. Yeah, no, that's great for him. So if you have you said you got in 2017. What made it click for you? What was the thing that said like, was it because of that bull run and he had 100 Bitcoin at like nothing, and then suddenly he's like almost pretty much a millionaire?
So I pulled out in 2017. I actually pulled out because I was new to the market and I really didn't understand the longevity of it. I thought it was just like a quick get in while you can and make some money and then skate. And then of course 2020 hit and boom, here we are again. And so I got in again, and of course I've diversified a little bit more, and that's why I'm like excited to talk to you, because I know that you're like, I was telling actually my friends here, we're about to go to the game like I was telling you, but yeah. And I was telling them like, yo, this dude literally just started from like complete like scraps, got some money, like got an injection, popped it into, I think was it Pokemon cards, and then you got into Tesla, or was it?
It was. I started doing the collecting of Pokemon cards, not really for the business, just things that I liked in 2018.
Okay.
And then in like and I did that a little bit through 2019, and then 2020 when right before everything crashed, I had a little bit of money, and I started looking at the patterns of everything, that the first edition PSA 10 Pokemon cards would go and they would sell for about 5 to 8 times what the 9s were going worth. And I was like, oh, nobody, like these, some are stupid undervalued, some are stupid overvalued, so you'd buy the 9s. And I took about $30,000 and bought a lot of product just for the Chavez Canto project, started a new company. And then the market crashed. So I was like, oh man, so I just took what aging receivables I could from the high risk lending business. I just put it all into Tesla because I knew that was undervalued. And then like a year later, so earlier this year, I found out what OMI was through just sheer luck. And that was like the luckiest thing in the world that I found that. When did you find out about it?
You know what? I found out about it earlier this year. And funny enough, one of my good friends, he's also my account manager. His name's Roy. He told me about the token, and I just knew, like, you know, I'm obviously not like the smartest guy in the room, but I knew like the tokenomics made sense, the utility, the gamification, like the codependency of using OMI for NFTs, and the fact that like the deflationary burn mechanisms are going to, like, just off the bat, the coin's going to go up simply off the fact that they're burning
the burn
tokens. Yeah, exactly. It's just like Bitcoin. You know, there's only 21, I think 21 million. So that coupled with everything, and then of course knowing that, like, you know, Disney is like a favorite pastime of like America, not just like 2 kids in the corner, but like all of America loves, you know, Disney and Mickey and, you know, all
very
these
true.
And it made a ton of sense. And the fact that, you know, there's only a couple exchanges that are hosting the token right now. I was telling my friend, it's like holding a bottle of champagne and just continuing to shake it. It's just inevitable that, like, once you open it up, it's just gonna go crazy. So yeah, I'm actually really excited. I'm actually with one of my friends. I guess you would consider him a whale. I don't know like what people say is whales, but he's holding like several million.
Okay. Yeah.
This is my buddy. You can come on over here. Man.
Yeah, they'll go on.
Oh.
You went to lean down. I was like, if you tell me your buddy's a dog, and you go and pick up this like little weird.
Oh, my buddy's an Australian Shepherd. He's fucking dog.
Yeah. I think a lot of people's goals are like 10 million. Some people's are 1 million OMI. Some people's goals are 10 million. And I think Dan Lee and Foster Hilt, I don't know if you've seen their videos.
Yeah.
They've gone and they've done like the percentages where I think the top 1% of OMI holders have about 98 or 100 million, but the top 50% have like 100,000. Like most people have like nothing. As far as the Go Chain Explorer wallets,
which is good. You know, I think you need both. You know, that diversification. You know, you don't want, like, obviously there's going to get to a point where there's, you know, whales, and then there's, you know, market manipulation and things like that. But at least for right now, it's a safe. I would say, anyways, it's a safe time to get in for that reason. You know, there's so much diversification that, like, hey, if, you know, 1,000 people are holding, you know, 100,000 only, and they end up pulling out, it's like, it's not going to do too much to the market.
Yeah, that's true. And that's something where I had this thought the other day, or a buddy of mine, you might have seen me mention a couple of times, Dan Schawbel is a really smart guy also. He said that, hey, just in case of another recession, you should not be worried, but just be advised that a lot of people are going to choose to keep the lights on as opposed to holding the crypto that, you know, might one day moon. And I'm thinking, okay, that's true. But I also think that a lot of the people that are doing that need to sell their crypto to keep the lights on probably don't have a ton of OMI. And even if they did, they had a ton, they would only sell as much as they would need, just in my opinion. But have you been keeping up with the news? I know you're extremely busy, so you probably don't. But do you keep up with like any of the AMAs or any of the other videographers, people that make content?
Yeah, I like Cavell Anderson's content. I like Foster's content. I like Henry. Just
I had him on yesterday.
He's like thoroughbred East Coast. He's like, what are you talking about? And then I got 140,000 million OMI, and it's just like he's a cool dude. You could tell.
He's so Jersey.
Yeah, he's super Jersey. So yeah, I keep up with their content when I can. I think I just caught a glimpse of the AMA with David Yu earlier this morning.
Yeah.
With the CoinGecko guys or whatever. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, I missed that. My Twitter got hacked this morning.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was like freaking out. I was like, this is like the worst time to because there's so much good content coming out. They had the Medium article for the comic book that's coming out tomorrow. They announced Storm from X-Men for Saturday's drop. I don't know how hardcore you are into the NFTs or just collect OMI, but that's like a really good character. Her backstory is really awesome.
So like I don't hold a whole lot of NFTs as far as like I have the Disney Golden Moment. So I have the Elsa. I actually got her aftermarket. So I bought her for like whatever, $300. I think it's up to whatever, $1,000 or something. 1,200, whatever. But yeah, I mean I'm really holding OMI, and I think you and I probably share the same consensus, which is like you don't know what those NFTs are going to go for at some point in time, but inevitably that the token is going to go up in price, whether it's a 50x or, a lot of people think 100x. I mean, I know that we could probably dive into the price predictions or whatever. I'm not holding a crystal ball over here, so I can't say exactly what, but I think that in a few years it would make sense that with everything considered that, OMI could very well hit at least $1.
Yeah.
Do I think it's gonna hit $10? I mean, I what would that even put the market cap at? Like 10 or 2 trillion, 2 or 3 trillion?
Yeah, like between 1.2 and 1.5, I think, about 1.5, something like that. Which is, I think that you could do that, towards the end of the decade, and maybe a lot of people are like, that's a lot of money, and that's higher than a bunch of other market caps, which they're right, it is, but in 10 years from now, the market cap of Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana, Cardano, they're not going to stay the same. They're going to go up. And one of the best things, Taps Trades, got to give him a watch.
God, sorry. Him too.
Okay.
Yeah. His last price prediction, actually, I think he was like showcasing a chart of like, I think he wanted to say 10 cents by the end of the year. I know there's so many variables too involved in like indexing that, and then the problem with, and not to cut you off, but the problem with people who watch your content religiously is like they hold you accountable as if you're like the market cap decider. Like you're the catalyst between whether or not the market pumps or dumps. So, but yeah, I mean, I think all those numbers are definitely going to happen. I think it's just the timing factor with the transition to Immutable X and getting the MTL out and all that. So I think, we're definitely in for a fun roller coaster ride.
Yeah, I love Taps gets some really interesting people on. He had this guy named Crypto Rain, who is similar to you, has been in since 2017 or slightly before then, but that was his first like bull, and then he experienced his first crypto winter. And he's older, he's more experienced than I am, and I think he's a little bit more successful, and so he said something that I don't necessarily see right now. He said that OMI should not hit $1 next year because of the analytics and technical analysis, but he said he probably will because people will moon into anything, as you've seen with like Doge and Saitama and Shiba Inu and people chasing those green candles. Right. And he also had Reese on during DesignerCon, which I don't know if you know what DesignerCon is. It was like the first Veve and Okomi meetup. And it was, dude, you have to come to the next one. I think it's in Vegas. We're just going to Level Up Expo. And I cannot wait for that to see the family. But basically he asked Reese what when we'd have exchanges, and Reese says, well, the transfer to Mutable is pretty much done. They just have a couple weeks to finalize everything and then mint everything on Ethereum's blockchain as opposed to being on the Go chain. Yep. And then after the next couple of weeks, should have exchanges soon after that. So I'm saying mid December, but it could be sooner.
Yeah. I saw that. I saw some of that content with Taps, and Taps does a really good job of like finding ways to like slip through the nooks and crannies of like, in questions that like, I think is this Riz or Reese?
Reese,
yeah. Some of those guys have to be elusive for different reasons, like when it comes to like answering things that, shouldn't be promoted to the public. And yeah, you could definitely read between the lines, which is exciting. But of course, they're not going to openly say time frames because then they're going to get, put on the crucifix again. So
yeah,
makes sense.
So a couple people, and just to address some people's concerns, say like 1.5 trillion is more than what Tesla's worth, and they're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
As Tesla's the most expensive car company, they're worth like maybe 1.1 trillion, give or take.
Yeah.
But they also have to spend a lot of money on manufacturing and employees, and inventing new giant cast systems for their car, stuff that didn't exist before. Where I feel like Akomi and OMI, they don't have to manufacture any toys or plastic or have employees or no choking hazards for children and settle lawsuits. It's just very easy to get things to go. They buy them and they send them out.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the potential market cap for crypto in general in the future?
What is it right now? 1.5 trillion, 1.4?
I forget. I think it reached, I think, 2 when it was up to like 69. Bitcoin was at 69,000 and Ethereum was up well over 4,000, and then it dipped now.
So you're talking about a whole financial, revolutionary system, right? Like you're not just talking about a company. You're talking about and people don't even understand like how much money is currently just in the world as it stands, and that money is going to end up on the blockchain, right? So like, yeah, I mean, just think about that. I mean, we're still super early. I know it doesn't feel like it to some people, especially if you are a short-term trader and you get burned by, putting money in and then it dumps and then you get out thinking that, the world's against you. But gosh, it's hard. I mean, what in terms of a price or a market cap prediction in terms of a specific time frame or just like what?
I would say I don't know. It depends what if we follow the past and we say like, okay, well, every 4-ish years or so, there's like, a rise and fall, bull and bear market. So I guess 2029, 2030, end of the decade after, let's say, if we're not in a super cycle right now, but after, let's say, 2 more rises of bull markets.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, 50 trillion, 100 trillion. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to really say. Yeah. I don't know exactly how much is in circulation. So for me to say that would be kind of
a good point.
Yeah, kind of difficult. Does that include the fact that Apple has a $2 trillion market cap, and if they end up coming on the blockchain and all the other?
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. I don't know what that. I mean, they probably are going to at some point. I know Amazon's probably going to accept Bitcoin, and I mean, it would make sense. Do you have any on your balance sheets? Do you have any crypto? Do you put OMI or Bitcoin on your balance sheets, or is that just something like, nah, it's in my personal?
I put it more on the personal side.
Yeah. I just to say that I have it. I do have OMI on the Chavez Trading Company and the Chavez Canto project on their balance sheets, just to say like, oh no, I have it. See, companies are doing it.
Yeah.
But you also have a vested interest, or you really want to help. I think I read on there people in third world countries, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
So at what point do you cash out to do that? Because that's something I've been struggling with myself, like, bird in the hand. And what point do you want to cash out to help everyone?
So I think that, if the end goal that we're optimizing for is $1, then essentially I would, hold until it hits $1. And then I would use, some of that capital to kind of facilitate my goals there. And and then of course, pay at that point. I think it would be short-term gains, and unless it happens within a year. I mean, I've already been holding it for 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
So
did you dollar cost average, or you just bought it all at once and then?
Yeah, I bought a pretty decent amount when it was like over a penny. And Andre Jick style, like literally, I was like, oh, this is it. I went in, bought, pretty decent amount. Definitely not hundreds of millions, but in the 8-figure OMI range.
Well, that answers Wes's question. Yes, in the 8-figure OMI range he's got.
Yeah, for sure. And then it tanked, and then I got back in around like 0.044. So I think my average median cost that I'm in is like 0.079 or like 0.08.
Okay.
So still less than a penny, and short term it's whatever. Long term I'm super bullish, so it doesn't even matter to me. And I'm still accumulating more.
Good. I actually just I was supposed to do a live stream earlier today saying that I had 115 million now finally, but then I got hacked to Twitter. I had to deal with that, so that sucks. that was rough.
Well, you're sitting heavy, man. 115. You're going to be able to solve world hunger at that point, man.
I hope so. That'd be pretty good. Yeah. That I feel like that would be, well, if you want name recognition, definitely eradicated disease or end world hunger, that type of deal.
Yeah.
So you said at $1, that's when you start to take profit just with this. And
I mean, I might take out a little bit along the way. I might take out small percentages of profit, but for the most part, I want to hold majority of my bag. And I'm not that. For me, I think we share the same kind of thought process, which is like I'll buy back the NFTs later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I have the one. I only really have two that are like 5-figure NFTs or more. It's a secret rare Spider-Man and the ultra rare Harley Quinn, Stephen Pugh Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Do you have like a Todd Batman? Do you have a secret rare Spider-Man or Superman?
I just have the Elsa. I literally just hold the Elsa. Yeah, and it's so difficult. And I've been looking. I was actually looking at like tutorials, like how to get the get them. And then like literally one day, I think it was during Designer Con, I set my alarm like 2 minutes before every single hour just to try to like remember that I was gonna jump in and try to get the drops. Literally every single time, boom, sold out. I was like,
yeah.
And then they said that like after 2 minutes you can go back in for like a rebound. I was trying to do that like 2, 3, 4 times after, it still wasn't happening. I'm just like, man, I'm just wasting my time, so I'll just buy them back later. So
yeah,
they say that Elsa's going to be I guess because she has like a pen on her shoe or whatever.
Well, we've been we debated about that, and
whatever, the amount of like downloaded file size that she has is going to make it's like why yeah.
So basically they had said that anything that is not animated could, if they wanted to, they could reanimate it at any point in time that they want. That's not saying that everything will. I doubt everything will be animated. That'd be too much work. Yeah. But I asked Trevor about that. I was live at DesignerCon a couple of times, but the once where I was sober at the DesignerCon, I asked him, "Hey, like, so is this a pen? Like, can you confirm? Is this Walt Disney's pen? As it is, that is not Walt Disney's pen. That is not what it is." So I said, "But it is something," and he said, "Yes." I was like, "Can you elaborate a little, for the camera?" I was like, "No." I was like, oh, damn. But Henry Pagliuca said it could be a wand. Like, the wand from the Disney Channel, like where kids would go like, "Oh, hey, thank you for watching Disney Channel."
Yep. And it has this like little animated, like I think it's like, is it stars or something that comes out of it, or I forget. There's an animation with the wand, I believe, that there's like an extension of something that like squiggles or something.
Yeah. They used to do that on the Disney Channel, where like they'd say, "Thanks for watching Disney Channel," and they would make the ears with the wand. So that's what it would do. But some people are thinking that something could plug into her and then she would sing. She'd sing "Let It Go." So I mean, it's a big file size, so who knows? Is the reason why you haven't really collected any of these NFTs because they haven't hit you with anything nostalgic yet, like a Sonic or a Recess or a Pokemon, that type of deal?
I was never big on collecting. Like I had obviously as a kid I had Pokemon cards, so I had like holographic Charizards and I had German Blastoises and things that are probably worth, I think one of my cards is definitely worth 30 or 40 grand.
Which one?
I think it was like the German Blastoise or the German Bulbasaur or something like that.
It was probably Blastoise, even first edition PSA 10 German Bulbasaur might not be that much, but Blastoise is probably
you would know better than I, but yeah, I think I saw it on eBay for for multiple 5 figures. No, man, I don't know. I don't know. I just am more invested in the token just because I believe that has a better chance of 100xing, and I don't know which 100xers are going to be in the NFT space. So if I come in and right now the partner stature is 10 grand, and it could go up to 100 grand. But I don't know if I want to take the chance of buying that, for 10 grand, and then it does like 20 grand, which is still a double.
Yeah.
But I'll put, 10 grand into OMI and it does 100x. Well,
yeah, agreed. Yeah. I've had a couple of people like there's some people that, and this is how I know it'll be successful, or one of the ways people like get obsessed with certain things. Like there's the extra larges this past DesignerCon known as like the golden apes and the silver, and so a lot of people are getting really into them, saying there's low mints of them, and they're just called like the extra large golden ape Veve Club, like instead of the yacht apes or whatever they're called. So I had one, I sold one because it like doubled in like a day. It's like, all right, I'll do that. And feel like you shouldn't have done that. You should have been a part of the club. And Professor Utonium for Powerpuff Girls is the same way. That had like a cult following, and everyone's like, "Why'd you sell it?" It's like, I wanted more OMI.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know enough about the collecting space. I know that obviously it's a huge sentimental thing, which is obviously why I'm bought into OMI, right? I know enough in terms of like there's so much investment in terms of people's emotions when it comes to these drops. I just don't know which ones are the ones that are going to do astronomical numbers, and I'm much more confident that OMI is going to do the numbers that we all anticipate. So I would just rather go with that than to be fiddling around with like, oh, should I buy this one? And then it God forbid it tanks. I don't think that any of these are going to tank, by the way. I think that they're all going to increase just based off of scarcity. Anytime that you give minimal amount of product into the market, it's just going to naturally go, because people feel like, hey, there's 1 out of 1,000 made, and there's 100. How many people are on the app at this point? 200,000-300,000
that are on the app each month. Like when they say monthly users, they log in at about 3 times on the app. That's like 500,000 users. But again, logging in 3 times a month, I don't know if you'd call them really active users. Pretty much each drop, you have like a couple 100,000 users on there. So it's no wonder I don't get any. But I think the downloads, we have probably close to 1 million, just downloads, and that's probably including some people that might have multiple accounts, or some people that downloaded it and then just never use it again. But either way, it's tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. So
I would have I would say a guess or an estimate of 3 million by Q1 of next year. So at some point, January, February, March, whatever.
Makes sense. Disney Plus has 100 million, or Disney, I think.
Yeah, 116. Yeah, 116. So if I'm waiting for them to go and say, hey, at the end of their, let's say the Hawkeye series that comes out in November, or later this month, they say, oh, hey, by the way, check out the new Hawkeye NFT on the Veve app. I would lose my mind. I would go nuts if they did that.
Which one is it?
If they did Hawkeye, because the Hawkeye TV series is coming out on Disney Plus. Have you kept up with the MCU at all?
No.
Okay. Well, it's awesome, and I highly recommend it.
Okay, got it.
If you have some time, or if you're sick one week, or whatever. They're pretty entertaining.
Disney Plus. My immune system is down. Here we go.
The only good part about getting sick, watching a lot of TV.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on just the space in general? I mean, what do you think that the metaverse is going to do in, reflection of the coin's price? What are your thoughts on the Veveverse in general? You think that people are going to be buying, $1 million, multi-million-dollar pieces of real estate?
Land? Yeah. Oh, not right away, but yeah, absolutely. I will ape into that 100%. Because I've seen this before on, like My Neighbor Alice or Decentraland, but most notably Earth 2 is where I really got very involved in. where Earth 2 is just I think it was the largest metaverse where it's a 1-to-1 map of Earth, and they go in and they just say, hey, buy Times Square, buy, the Eiffel Tower. This one dude from South Korea just paid $65,000 for the tiles that make up the Statue of Liberty. I was like, damn, I really wanted to keep that in American hands, so I might buy that back at some point. But yeah, I 100% believe that, because for a couple of reasons. If you have let's say VV City in the VV verse, and right next to that is like Marvel Land, and you're strategically placed in between VV, like the trifecta. Here's VV City, here's Marvel Land, here's Disneyland, and DC Land's over here. Get placed in between them, and so much foot traffic. A lot of people are going to build houses on there, or just basically have giant billboards. And the giant billboards would just be advertising. And if they get a lot of foot traffic, advertising revenue from the company as well.
Same page. I'm so glad you said that. How advertising is going to affect that space. And like, if you need OMI in order to advertise, and you're literally making money off of OMI by loading up on tokens and then having to plug back in, and then couple that with billboards and digital ads inside of the VBverse, it's like, it's stupid. I don't think that people even understand like what that's going to do. I think people are very conservative about what the project is actually going to do. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, same. And I think that also there is going to be a gambling effect. Like, I don't know if you ever played Neopets or the first two Pokemon generations.
No.
All right, so
the first Pokemon.
Yeah, so they have the casino in the first generation, and they continue it in the second generation as well. And how they kind of get away with that is because, like, well, you're not gambling with real money, you're just gambling with Pokemon money, or with Neopets, you're gambling with Neopet money. I think that similar in the way that episode of Zoe 101, where Logan hands out Chase bucks to all the students, and it says, okay, you can't hand out money, but you can hand out Chase bucks that are redeemable at any school store. I think that we're going to be able to gamble with our OMI based on like races between like the DeLoreans and the Ecto ones. And we're not going to gamble with OMI. We're going to pay OMI to get points for like the Master Collector program or VV points, whatever. And then we're going to be able to gamble those points. So I think that's their way around it. And that OMI burn is going to be ridiculous. Paying for that stuff in OMI.
Yeah. I'll say this, man, and I'm so glad that we had a chance to catch up today, and I wish I had a little bit longer. I'll say this, for anybody who's like on the fence, just understand that this team, and this is like my Moon Boy, philosophy, is like the fact that this team started in 2017 when NFTs were virtually like not even existent, just a mere concept, and worked for 4 to 5 years diligently, with no sign of like the end of the tunnel, or like NFTs even like coming to culmination. And to have the audacity to do that day in and day out for 4 years straight, there's a real deep sense of conviction that isn't just like teeter-tottering on like indecisiveness. It's completely like, we know that we're going to dominate this space, and here's how we're going to prove it: by getting licenses, securing IP 4 years back. So like now the fact that, Disney is, they have enough money to do it themselves, and Andre brought a great point. That is like one of my big fears. Like, oh, why don't they just do it themselves? It's like, no, because they see how much foot traction, like BB's 4 years ahead. I mean, that, 365 times 4 is what? 1,460.
Yeah.
1,460 days.
Yeah.
That they've already spent doing this. So it's exciting, and I think we're all in moon mode.
Yeah.
Waiting for it to crack off. So
I also think that a lot of people were saying, talking about Facebook, but I think a couple of weeks ago, a lot of companies like Snapchat and YouTube and Google were testifying like against Facebook, talking about their privacy policies and things that they censor that they probably shouldn't, things that they don't censor they probably should. But today, Gemini raised about $400 million to build a metaverse outside of Facebook's walled garden. Winklevoss twins were like, yeah, Facebook's going down. So I was like, oh, No, I get it. It's 400 million in comparison to Facebook's billions, but I mean they also have. I think they're now actually deca billionaires from this that they raised.
It's the same thing though. I mean, and this is kind of ended on this, and I would love to maybe hop on it again. But
Yeah,
I'll say this: it's like think about social media platforms. Some people like Facebook, some people hate it, and some people only use TikTok. Some people only use Snapchat. So I think it brings awareness that Facebook's doing their thing Meta, and obviously it's going to be a huge thing. They have enough capital to make it colossal, but at the same time, you can't discredit that just because Meta's doing it doesn't mean that other platforms can't. It's like saying that only Tesla can exist.
yeah.
Lambo can't exist, like Rari, Aston Martin, like McLaren's, like they can't exist if Tesla's in their corner. Like that, it just doesn't make sense when people make these irrelevant parallels. Or like try to like isolate them as if it's only one or the other. So
yeah, I love that Facebook's doing it because that just brings attention to the space. It gives it validity, and
exactly.
And obviously they'll take market share, same as a bunch of other people. But I think this is the winner. That heavyweights in here.
Exactly. So. My man, thank you so much for having a chat with me. Like I said, I mess with you so heavily, you have no idea. Like, and like I said, a lot of people are like, this guy's nuts for just going all in. But it's like, no, what is it? No, you can't risk. You got to risk it for the biscuit, man. And
yeah.
when you know a project is gonna go, man, you just know. So yeah, super excited, and yeah, thank you for chatting with me tonight.
Yeah, no, thanks. Everyone seems to love you down here. And we wish you the best. Come by anytime. Let me know. I know awesome. You're busy, but have fun at the game tonight. Have a drink for me, okay?
All right, awesome.
All right, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Meow, meow,
later.
Meow.